Welcome again, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar on Digital Identity Service, or the new API of our Digital Onboarding Toolkit. We will today guide you through our new API, which we developed in order to make the integration of Digital Onboarding Toolkit's components easier and much more faster. The presentation will be delivered by my colleague sitting next to me, Victor, and together with us remotely connected is Lydia, which will help with the questions and answers session, which will be following after the presentation. So on today's agenda, we have the Digital Identity Service, or the new API, and its benefits. Victor will explain how it works, what's the difference compared to the previous API, and of course we'll share some practical resources with you. And like I said, after that, the question and answers session will follow. Nevertheless, every time you have any questions, please use the Q&A tool at your control panel, which you can find either at the bottom of the screen or on the right panel of your screens. So feel free to ask anytime. The simpler questions will be answering during the webinar, and the more complex ones or the most interesting ones will keep to the end of the session. Last but not least, I would like to tell you all that the session is being recorded, and we will be sharing the recording of the webinar with you after the webinar tomorrow in the morning at the latest. I think that's all. We are all set. So Victor, I give the floor to you.
Thank you, Anka. Hello, everybody. In the first place, I would like to excuse myself if I will lose my voice for a moment. I'm not very fit today, but never mind. Let's get to it. We would like to introduce you the Digital Identity Service. This is a new component of our DOT product, which combines the functionality of two previous components that we had, and that was the document server and the core server. This is merged into one, and we're adding identity verification logic into this product, thanks to the combination of these two. Okay, so we did this because we have seen that a lot of our customers, our integrators, are repeating the same work in order to bring the full product. So we tried to cover also this repetitive work for the customer. This means that the deployment of the project can be much faster because more of the work is done out of the box. We are also providing more functionality thanks to this. And we also designed the product to be prepared for cloud deployment. The structure of the API has changed. In the previous components of the solution, we had services that acted as image processing APIs, where on the input was an image and the output was a long, complex response that extracted all the data from the image. Now we designed an API which is use case oriented. So it goes to the topics related to the identity verification or to the topics of the quality evaluation of the face image. The new API is also more granular. That means it's not one huge response, but you get different API calls that you can use to extract information that you need at the moment when you need them, so the responses are smaller. Okay, with this new component, we also improved the document OCR. The big change is that we're evaluating both pages of the document, or we can evaluate them both at the same time. This improves the document classification, and we are able also to bring new functionality where we can do data cross-checking between the machine-readable zone and the visual zone, and we're also doing cross-checking against the document photography. We are also now differentiating the levels of support that we provide for the OCR of the documents. The level 2 is the full OCR extraction of the visual zone, as you know it from today's document server. Now we added level 1, which is the extraction of the machine-readable zone data, and also the face extraction from the document. So this way we have expanded the document support by some 1,000 documents. And of course, the not supported documents that have no machine-readable zone, with this one we provide the face extraction from the document. So let's discuss the identity verification use case. This is our main product that you know. In the first step is the user taking image of his document, then he's taking the selfie, and we're validating the match between the document and the face selfie, and returning the customer's data. This use case have been provided with the products, with the components that we had before, was a little bit more complex. The integrator had to first upload the document images into the document server, which extracted some data. This data had to be stored by the integrator solutions. The face extracted from the document had to be combined with the selfie photos, and this had to be uploaded to the core server, which did the face matching and passive liveness, and all this data had to be cached by the integrator solution in order to evaluate it and provide the onboarding result. With the new product, we have brought cache to the component, and thanks to this, the integrator can just easily upload the document images and the face images to the digital identity service. The integrator just configures the thresholds of the identity service, and the identity service internally does all the logic to return the onboarding result. And as the onboarding result is simplified and provided by us, we can bring a future product that we're planning for you, and this will be the Trust platform, which we will present when it's done. So we would like to ask you also some polls during the session, and Janka has the poll prepared for you. So Janka, over to you.
Yes, so I'm launching the poll now. You should see on the screens the first questions that we'd like to know the answer to from you. So how long has it took for your team to implement the remote onboarding with the document server and core server products? Please choose one of the options that applies to your experience. I can see the answers coming in. I would give you some more time to collect the answers from all of you. Okay. The answers are still coming in. So I'll give you 10 more seconds. All right. And I'm ending the poll now and sharing the results. So there we go. It seems that the majority was able to do so under 2 weeks or within a month. And then within 2 months, 20%, and longer than 2 months, 17% of the respondents.
Yeah, this is interesting data, and I would like to see the results of such poll after we bring the digital identity service to you. So we will be contacting you probably within 2 months with the questions of how long did it took you to implement the new API. So now to the onboarding use case API. Now let's drill down to the new API. We have Swagger for the API that we'll be sharing later. But let's get through the individual API calls of how you need to call them in order to achieve the identity verification or the onboarding use case as we recommend it. So as we're setting up the cache in the product, we need to set up different objects. So with the first API call, you set up the customer object. Then you have to call the document to set up the document object. And then you're uploading the 1 or 2 pages of the document. So that's here. After that, you're uploading the selfie. That's here. Then you need to create the liveness object, and in the liveness object you have to upload the selfies in case you're doing the active liveness. In case you're doing only passive liveness, you can reference the selfie that you have already uploaded. So it's just cross-reference, no need to upload it a second time. And then you start the evaluation. So first, you evaluate the liveness, whether the photo uploaded was genuine. Then you can inspect the customer. What's this call doing is checking the selfie photo against the document photo and checking also the age and gender if they are matching. Then you call the document inspect here, which does the data validation between the 2 pages and between the machine readable zone and the visual zone. And when you have all these 3 checks positive, you know that the customer is actually can be trusted, and you can get the details of the customer, where you will get his face crop, you will get all the data extracted from the document. And as of course, you don't want the cache to consume too much. After the evaluation and storing the customer, you have to delete the customer from the cache. So now let's demonstrate this with the postman calls. We have created this postman collection that you will get together with the product when you download it. So let's go through the process. At first, you create the customer. In the response, you will get the ID of this customer. This is important because all the other calls you will be doing with this customer entity, you need to use this ID when you're uploading photos, when you're evaluating the customer. So the next step is to create the document. That's the document. We're starting then with the front page. This is now taking some time because the document OCR was running. You get information of what type of document it was classified. And here you can see that in the image data, we detected the corners. That's this yellow points. Okay, the next step is the back page of the document. Again, the OCR is running. Again, we have the page was identified. Now we'll upload the customer selfie as we discussed. So here we can see that the corners of the face have been detected. Now we'll start with the liveness. So we created the liveness object, and now we'll upload the passive liveness selfie or reference. And when we have this, we can evaluate the passive liveness. So here we got the score, it's 0.89. So this is above the threshold. We can trust the photo. Now we'll inspect the customer. I will discuss more the customer inspection, but here you can see the result that the selfie is matching the document portrait and is matching the liveness selfie. The estimated gender was male, which is consistent with the document portrait and also with the written data on the document. We can see that the age estimation is 30 on the selfie, which is 6 years different from the document, but that's within the tolerance. And okay, there was no mask on the selfie. Then we can inspect the customer document. Here we can see that the document is not expired, the machine readable zone is valid, was not modified. The document portrait is matching the age and gender of what is written on the document. And also the text in the document is consistent with the machine readable zone. And also we haven't detected any screen attack or the change of the color profile of the document is also within the tolerance. So now we know that we can trust the customer. So we can get the customer details. So we have all his information from the document from different sources. This data can be stored to the database. If I would like, I can get also the other details from the documents, crops, like document portrait. So everything can be extracted. And as I mentioned, I don't want to store the cache or to take up the cache capacity. So I delete the customer. Okay, so back to the presentation. Here we have also the Swagger. which is publicly on the website. You can see all the calls I've been demonstrating here. And okay. So to the results, we have also a new onboarding or identity verification demo on our website. You can try this yourself. I will not be presenting it during this presentation because I have demonstrated it in the Postman, but generally it does the same as I demonstrated. And here you can see how the result in the demo looks like. So here you have the customer inspect results. You see the details also with the description. And here you can see how the document inspect result looks inside our demo. And now we would be having another poll for you. So Janka, please go ahead.
So this poll consists of 2 questions.
You're not sharing, okay.
The first one is, have you implemented all the identity checks as in the new digital identity service? And the second question is, have you implemented some additional checks? So I'll give you some time to answer the questions. All right, 10 more seconds for you. And I'm ending the poll now and sharing the results with all of you. So it looks like not all of the identity checks were implemented by majority of our audience. And also the majority replied no to the second question.
Okay, this is interesting. So it looks like that the functionality we have developed inside the digital identity service could be of interest because some 64% of the attendees could use this out of the box. So thank you. Okay, as I mentioned, the API does not consist only of the identity verification or onboarding use case, but we have also the API for face biometrics. So this is for face detection and ICAO quality evaluation. So I will be demonstrating this with the Swagger. Here it works that you can upload the face with the API call, and then you can get the various attributes of that face. So you can get the ICAO quality attributes, information about if there are glasses or a face mask on this picture. You can get a crop with a removed background in case you use this API, for example, to print documents with the photos. You can also get the age and gender estimation from the photo. And if you have 2 images, you can use this call similarity to match the 2 faces. So for example, if you would be implementing the face unlock functionality, you could use just this API. Okay. Now more to the part of the deployment and authentication of the new component. With the digital identity service, we have included API authentication. This is because we're preparing this component for future software as a service offering. So we wanted the API to be ready for this already. This means that you have to use this API authentication also if you use the digital identity service on-premise, but it's not anything complicated. You just need to add the authorization in the HTTP header. And in the authorization, you will be using token that you will receive together with the license of the digital identity service. So these two are just cross-checked against each other. In case you would like to use or test our public instance of the digital identity service, you need a trial token for this. So this will be given to you by either the sales representative or the integration consultant that communicates with you. With the deployment, the digital identity service is, as I mentioned, cloud native and scalable. So the Docker is suitable for the cloud. What is important to mention that the component uses cache cluster. Currently, it's Memcache, so you have to install this together when you're installing the component. The Memcache is compatible with Amazon's Elastic Cache, so this should be also no problem. But in the case you would need other technology than Memcache, it's possible. And just please contact us, and we'll discuss this based on your project. So for the resources, we have updated the documentation page to provide the new documentation for this product. The Swagger is online. The Postman collection is in the download package. This is what I've been demonstrating. We have uploaded also the new samples for this component. You will find them in links to the GitHub in our documentation page. So here you can see, for example, for front end, this is web integration example. We have also Java integration examples. And a lot of you would probably ask what is going to happen with the current components, the .core server and the .document server. So we are starting now a 1-year phase-out period. So we would like to see all of you to migrate to the new API within 1 year. And we're here ready to help you with that. But of course, you know, this is up to discussion. So what it means, the phase-out period. So these components will not be receiving any further development, no new features. There will be bug fixes only. With the document support for the document server, the new documents that we are working on are added only to the digital identity service. But of course, in the running projects where some countries are supported with documents, if there is a new edition of a document issued by that country, We are also adding support for these documents into the document server, but that's on the project base. So anyway, please contact your salesperson or integration consultant if you have any questions regarding the document support. And of course, we are keeping also the documentation of these products. We have moved them to a separate page. So here you can see the developers old. That's the page keeping these components. And of course, you can find all the older versions here. So if you need to check the documentation of exactly some older version of the product, you can find it here as well. So that was for today's presentation. My voice is still running, so we can get to the question and answer session.
Yes, I can see Lydia and Pecho has already replied to several questions online, but let me share the screen with the questions that are still to be answered. I hope you can see them well. So let's have a look at the first one. Till how long document server and core server would continue to be supported? Is there any date by which we must move to newer backend APIs?
Okay, so as was mentioned in the last slide, we're in a 1-year phase-out period. We would like to ask you to move to the new product within 1 year. That means the 1st June 2023. But of course, we are ready to help you to move sooner if it's possible.
All right. The next question. Also for Hungary, we need to scan the ID data and the address cards. Is it possible to combine multiple documents in the process?
Currently, we're working with one document, but it's possible if you need to process 2 documents per one customer. It's possible that after extracting the data from one card, you can delete just the document, not the whole customer, then upload second document and process this one. But of course, we can have a look on this specific use case and find a way how to add support for combination of multiple ID cards. So please get in touch with us after the presentation and we'll discuss your use case.
Okay, I will do it like this and put here the next question. Does Digital Identity Service support NFC documents? So uploading just the first page with CAN dates and then NFC payload?
Currently, we haven't implemented the NFC reading into this product. We are aware of this and we're planning this for some of the future updates of the product. So currently, this is working only on the visual and machine readable zone. Of course, we do have the mobile components that support extracting and parsing of the NFC data, but the Digital Identity Service does not support it yet.
Maybe it's good to mention already one of the already answered questions. One of our attendees asked how long will this ID be cached, like with the process within the digital identity service. So it can be configured according to your needs. The default is 30 minutes for the customer and 10 minutes for the face. So I thought that could be interested for the audience in case somebody missed the reply. Here we have another question. There it goes. So when can we have the training and documentation on how to implement your new SaaS services?
Okay. As I mentioned, we are preparing, or this component, digital identity service, is prepared to be offered as a software as a service, but we don't have this in the offering yet. We have it as a goal for this year, so please stay tuned and we will be communicating this when it will be ready.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And I can see our colleague is already typing an answer to this question, but maybe we can reply it publicly. So does digital identity service come packaged as a new version of Digital Onboarding Toolkit, or is it packaged totally separate? Meaning, do we replace our newest .dot core and document installations with digital identity service, or do we just upgrade to digital identity service?
Okay. Do we have the response from colleagues?
Sorry?
Is there a response from colleagues?
I cannot see. I will have to find it. I saw that Pedro is replying to this, but he was in the process, so that's why I used the question to be answered.
Sorry. Okay, I thought my voice could be relieved for a moment, but anyway, I think we can say that the digital identity service is a replacement more for the document server. So the .dot core server will have to be removed or disabled, and I would recommend just to switch the document server with the digital identity service. But that depends on the way how you have deployed these products. Of course, all three, the document server, the core server, and digital identity service are three separate packages.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And we have the next question here. So regarding the hardware requirements, is it expected to be similar to document server or like double document server plus core server?
I would say that the hardware requirements are a little bit bigger than the document server, but definitely not double. And you have to consider that you have to reserve some additional memory for the cache.
Mm-hmm. All right. And I can see just like it is written here at the very end, just my thoughts. It's more just a thought sharing than the question itself. But maybe, Victor, you can comment on that a bit. Seems like an expensive operation to always delete after use. And if the delete seems to fail due to intermittent connection, then I guess the data would be left orphaned until the system-wide TTL takes place. Now it becomes a chore to always separately issue a delete call for cases where stateless onboarding is required.
I don't know if the delete operation is that expensive, and it also depends on your configuration of the cache. So as was mentioned, default configuration is 30 minutes till the customer entity lives in the cache. So if you know that you are able to process the onboarding within 5 minutes, you can reduce it to 5 minutes and skip the delete call. That's up to you and up to the frequency of the requests that you're getting.
Okay, and I think it looks like we exhausted all the questions that you had on mind. So I believe if we don't get any others in upcoming seconds, I would say, we can conclude this session. So thank you very much again for joining. Thank you for staying with us till the very end, and thank you for the interest of the topic, which we could see with a lot of questions that you asked. Like I said, the session was recorded, and we will be sharing the recording of it tomorrow morning at the latest. And we'll be looking forward to your presence at one of our other webinars. Thank you again, and have a nice rest of the day.
Thank you. Bye.